Okay, when you're mixing your soil, you have to make sure that it's moist enough that the water doesn't just run through. So you've probably planted something in the past and tried to water it in, but if the soil was really dry, you probably noticed that it just ran right through the pot. So it's good to sort of condition the soil so that it will accept water, and sometimes it takes a few days if the soil is super dry. Like my soil that I'm starting with is super dry. This is stuff that came out of the garden tower, and it has a lot of the good garden tower compost in it, but I solarized it, I heated it up, and so it's really dry. So if I were to just, and that's what I put in here, so if I were just to put it in here, put a plant in there, and then try to water it in, it would take a while, and usually the plant will suffer. The roots are, not established enough, and, you really need to drop your plants into an environment that's really ready for it so that it can just take off. So the pot that I just prepared, and I just spent a lot of time mixing the soil, basically just with my hands. It is already so nicely hydrated because this is really moist and damp. The other thing that I want to say about the worm bin here is that I really tried to separate out the worms, and then I thought, well, I'm gonna leave them in here and see if they dive down. Now it's been like 5 minutes, they've already dove down to the level below. So now I can take all this out, and the level below I can harvest worms to put into my garden tower. So I just basically hand mixed all of those nutrients that I added to the soil. There was a frozen banana, that's nice and cold, but that'll heat up really quickly because today is supposed to be really hot again. All right, so now what I'm going to do is incorporate the orchid pot into that, because I know I've missed some worms in there. I just know it. I really looked through before I started mixing all that in, and even after I started mixing, I found some worms, so I put them back over there. But there's going to be a lot of eggs in here that hatch out, and then they're going to need food. So they're going to help break down the banana that I put in there, and they're going to use the eggshell as grit because they have a gizzard like a chicken, and that's how they process. Oh, look at that worm. I just found a little worm, and I'm going to put it in here. See, there's a bunch of them in here, I know it. So they can use probably the bone meal, they can use the eggshell, and they'll eat that banana peel, and they're gonna break that down and make those nutrients, all that potassium, available to my tomato plant and also my eggplant.